All right. Chris Cuomo on CNN last night. He's hooked on Steve King of Iowa. He's hooked on Steve King of Iowa. It's the one guy they have. It's the one guy they can point to. I can point to 10 of them. 10 of them. But let's listen to Chris Cuomo, Democrat, liberal, New York, Cuomo family, CNN, Cut 9, go.
And I think if the kids don't have the hats on their heads, you have a very different situation in terms of how it's perceived. And I'm okay tolerating all of that and the early...
Wait a minute, pal. What do you mean you're okay tolerating all that? In other words, ladies and gentlemen, you see the hat is the new white hood. That's what they're trying to say. They've been saying that. I'm okay with that. Look, I'm okay with that. So be it. You know, they can wear those hats. Thank you, you jerk. You schmo. You nobody. You think you actually got your job because you earned it? No, you got your job because it's called nepotism. Because you're an idiot. Think you got into Yale because you're smart? No, you got into Yale because your name's Cuomo. Go ahead.
That was wrong because you can correct it, and that's fine. And there was nothing done here to anybody. And the scrutiny that's
Hey, look, what's the problem? The kids were smeared. Their faces are all over. Death threats. They had to shut the school. Today the school's open. Covington, the cops were everywhere. Hey, that's fine. What's the big deal? Nobody was harmed. You hear this? If that were CNN, oh, you'd never hear the end of it. If it was their kids in their school, you'd never hear the end of it. You notice no talk about freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. No. No talk about these thugs, these so-called black Hebrew Israelites, and the other thugs who came in there and then lied about these kids. No. Go ahead.
So you take that as it comes. It wasn't a pretty situation to begin with. But the president...
No, just look how he speed talks through that. Because CNN has anti-Semitism and bigotry all over itself. All over itself. It's dripping with it. Race baiting, dripping with it. Go ahead.
Poached this position. Mm-hmm. And he ignored...
Stop. So the president poached this position. He poached this position. That is the position of a white supremacist, of a racist. This guy is a nobody, had a nobody show in the morning, but they think he's so good they give him his own primetime show. So the President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen, poached this position. That's why the hats are a problem. This is their narrative. That the presidents are racist, that his supporters are racist. This is their narrative over at CNN. There's no diversity of thought in this newsroom. There's no thought whatsoever. They sit there on their fat asses every day and every night trying to figure out how to trash the president and trash his supporters. It must make them feel great when Chris Cuomo's in the Hamptons, when they're roaming around Manhattan, when they're getting a latte at some restaurant. Hey, that's our guy. Recognize. This is their world. That's their bubble. Go ahead.
King, you have to see that for what it is. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense except the most obvious sense. He plays favorites when it comes to bigotry.
Political expediency and to bigotry.
What are you, a talking clown? He plays favorites when it comes to bigotry. Really, Chris Cuomo, you're pointing at yourself. You're looking at yourself in the mirror. I'm sure you do so endlessly. I can tell the way you look into the camera. You're in love with yourself. You've had anti-Semitism and race baiting by race baiters on your own network. You haven't called out a single one. The guy who you talked to, Don Lemon, he's a race baiter. Some think even worse. And there you are talking to him. You've got Democrats going to that National Action Network, which is Sharpton's organization. Do they call them out? No. You know who works with Sharpton? His brother, Andrew Cuomo. Has Andrew Cuomo called out Farrakhan? Maybe he did. I haven't heard it. How about the Democrat Party? Tell me, did they call out Keith Ellison and his association with Jew haters and Farrakhan? No. He was deputy chairman of the DNC. Steve King is who they'll continue to tell you about. But the Democrat Party's loaded with these people. Loaded with leftists, haters, race baiters, racists, anti-Semites. And it's getting worse. Tough guy Chris Cuomo doesn't call them out. His brother cavorts with many of them.